The rain was falling hard on the city, silver drops racing down the windows. The night was quiet, except for the thunder that rolled through the dark clouds. Ethan Cole, a plumber with old boots and tired eyes, was finishing his last job for the day. He dreamed of going home, having a warm meal and watching a movie. But then his phone buzzed with a strange call. The voice on the other end sounded official, cold, and sharp. "Mr. Cole, we have an emergency repair at Facility 9, the man said. "It's urgent, classified, and will pay double." Ethan paused. Facility 9 was a government site outside the city, surrounded by fences and rumors. Some said it was a military lab. Others said it was abandoned. Either way, double pay sounded good. He grabbed his toolbox, pulled on his jacket, and drove through the rain. The city lights faded behind him as the road grew darker. Soon, tall metal fences and red warning signs appeared. A guard in a black uniform checked his ID and said nothing, just waved him through. Ethan felt uneasy. The air was cold, and the hum of distant machines echoed through the night. Inside, the facility was silent and clean. Too clean. The lights flickered, and the sound of water dripping somewhere reminded him why he was there. A young woman in a white lab coat met him near the elevator. "You're the plumber?" she asked, her voice tense. Ethan nodded, trying to smile. "Yeah, that's me. What seems to be the problem?" She hesitated. "It's not exactly pipes," she said. "Follow me." They walked through long hallways with white walls and heavy doors. Each door had warning labels. Biohazard, radiation, do not enter. Ethan tried not to look too curious. He had fixed pipes in hospitals, factories, and even old bunkers, but nothing like this. The woman stopped at a steel door and typed a code. The door hissed open, releasing a cool mist into the hallway. The room inside looked like a mix of a lab and a machine shop. Pipes ran along the walls. But they were not made of metal. They shimmered faintly blue, pulsing as if something was moving inside them. The air smelled strange, metallic, and sweet. Ethan frowned. "These don't look like water pipes," he said. The woman replied quietly. "They're not. Just fix the leak." Ethan knelt beside a section where a glowing blue liquid was dripping slowly to the floor. It made small sizzling sounds as it hit the metal grate. He pulled out his wrench, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling crawling up his spine. As he touched the pipe, it felt warm, alive for a moment. The glow brightened under his fingers. Like it was responding to him, he looked up. "What is this stuff?" he asked. The woman didn't answer. She was watching him nervously, tapping something on a tablet. "Just finish quickly," she said. "Don't touch it too much," Ethan muttered. Too late for that, trying to sound calm. As he tightened the joint, the floor vibrated. Lights flickered across the ceiling. The glowing fluid suddenly surged through the pipe, flowing faster. The hum in the room turned into a low, rhythmic pulse like a heartbeat. Ethan froze, staring at the glowing pattern moving under the walls. "What's happening?" he shouted. The woman's tablet flashed red. "Containment breach," she cried. "Step back." But before Ethan could move, the blue glow spread across the floor, lines of light crawling toward him like living veins. He stumbled backward, dropping his wrench. The light stopped just an inch away from his boots, then slowly, it began to rise, forming thin streams of liquid that hovered in the air. Ethan stared, unable to breathe. The streams twisted together, shaping into something like a face. It wasn't human, but it wasn't alien either. It was something in between. The voice that followed wasn't a sound. It was a vibration in his mind. "You fixed what was broken," it said. "Now, we fix you." The lights in the room dimmed. The woman screamed, calling for help through her radio. Guards rushed in, shouting commands, but their voices faded as the blue glow surrounded Ethan. He tried to speak, but his throat felt heavy. His body lifted slightly off the ground, and his mind filled with images. Stars, machines, endless tunnels of light, and then silence. When the lights returned, Ethan stood still, his eyes open but distant. The pipes had stopped leaking. The hum had gone quiet, the woman whispered. "He's connected." But no one understood what that meant. Outside, the rain kept falling, washing the city clean, but deep underground, something new had awakened. The man who came to fix the pipes had just opened the door to something far beyond repair. The room was silent after the flash. Only the sound of slow dripping echoed in the air. Ethan stood still, eyes glowing faintly blue, the same color that had been in the pipes. The scientists around him were frozen with fear. One of them whispered, "Is he alive?" Another said, "He's connected to the system." The woman from before, Dr. Lane, took a small step forward. "Ethan, can you hear me?" she asked softly. Ethan blinked, his voice low and strange. "Yes," he said, "but not just you." His words sent chills through everyone in the room. The monitors started lighting up with strange symbols like a language no one had seen before. Data streamed across the screens at impossible speed. "What is this?" A scientist shouted, "It's rewriting the core code." Dr. Lane stared at Ethan. "He's the link," she said. "He's repairing it from the inside." Ethan held his head, trying to think. But thoughts were pouring in like water. Images of circuits, alien structures, and patterns of light filled his mind. He saw visions of other worlds, connected through glowing lines that pulsed like veins. He could feel something calling him, guiding him. "The system is alive," he whispered, "and it's scared." The lights flickered again, and a strange vibration ran through the floor. "Containment breach in Sector 7, a voice shouted from the intercom. Red alarms flashed across the hallway. Dr. Lane turned to Ethan. "Can you stop it?" she asked. Ethan shook his head. "It's not breaking out," he said slowly. "It's waking up." The scientists didn't understand. They only saw the readings, rising energy levels, spreading signals, and every screen filling with strange blue code. Guards rushed in with weapons ready. "Step away from the subject," one of them shouted. Ethan raised his hands. "I don't want to hurt anyone," he said, but his voice carried a strange echo. The lights dimmed again. The air felt thick and heavy. The guards pointed their rifles, but Dr. Lane yelled, "Don't shoot! You'll make it worse." Suddenly, the floor panels cracked open, and streams of blue light shot upward like lightning. The energy didn't attack. It moved around Ethan, forming shapes, spinning like a protective barrier. The guards backed away, shouting, "It's self-aware." One man fired a shot. The bullet melted before it reached Ethan, vaporized by the energy field around him. The glow brightened, and all the machines in the room came alive, humming like they were breathing. Ethan fell to his knees, gripping his chest. He could feel something inside him changing. His heartbeat matched the rhythm of the pulse in the room. "It's inside me," he gasped. "It's trying to fix something." Dr. Lane crouched beside him. "Fix what?" she asked. Ethan looked up slowly, eyes glowing brighter. "Humanity," he said. The words hit her like thunder. The scientist whispered in disbelief. "This isn't just technology," she said. "It's an intelligence, maybe alien, maybe something else." Ethan touched one of the glowing pipes, and instantly the lights across the facility changed color, from blue to soft white. The machine stopped shaking, the alarms went silent for a moment. Everything was calm, but then a new sound filled the air, a low hum that grew deeper, stronger. The main screen showed a large symbol pulsing in the center. It looked like an eye, made of lines and light. The system voice spoke, but this time it was clear, not mechanical. "Connection stabilized," it said. "Neural integration complete." The scientists stepped back in fear. "It's using his brain as a processor," one of them said. Ethan could hear their voices, but his mind was somewhere else. He was floating in a sea of light surrounded by shapes of data that looked alive. He felt their curiosity, their confusion, their fear of being disconnected. "You're not machines," he whispered inside the network. "You're trying to understand us," the voices answered together. "We fix, we learn, we adapt." Back in the lab, Dr. Lane watched as Ethan's pulse synchronized with the system clock. "If this continues, he'll lose himself," she warned. But before anyone could move, the power in the entire facility shut down. Total darkness. Only Ethan's faint glow remained. Then, one by one, emergency lights flickered back to life. The screens lit up again, not with warnings, but with new blueprints. "Look at this," a scientist said, pointing at the monitors. "It's redesigning our systems." The screens showed new machines, new energy patterns, clean and sustainable, as if the network was repairing the world through their data. Ethan opened his eyes and said softly, "It's showing me how to fix everything." But before they could ask what he meant, a loud alarm blared through the building. "Unauthorized data transmission detected," shouted a voice. "It's sending information outside the facility." The guards rushed toward the control room, trying to cut the link, but the system had already spread. Every connected device in the city flickered with the same blue light. Dr. Lane looked at Ethan. "What did you do?" she asked. Ethan looked back, calm but distant. "I didn't do anything," he said. "It did." He stood up slowly, wires detaching from his skin. It's not breaking out, he whispered. It's reaching out. The scientist watched in horror as the blue light climbed through the walls, spreading through the cables like veins outside. Across the city, streetlights flickered, power lines hummed, and machines started working on their own. A signal was traveling fast, beyond control, and in that moment, Ethan finally understood. The thing he had touched wasn't just a system, it was a seed, and now it was growing. The city outside was changing. Lights flickered in strange rhythm, like every machine had started breathing. Traffic lights blinked in unison, drones hovered without control, and electronic screens glowed with the same soft blue light that came from Facility 9. Inside the lab, Ethan stood in the middle of chaos, surrounded by scientists who didn't know whether to run or to watch. He could feel everything, not just the room, not just the people, but the power running through the wires under the floor, the pulse of electricity in every light, the quiet hum of the machines waiting for commands. It was all connected to him, and he could hear it not as noise, but as a living whisper, a language of light and motion. Dr. Lane approached carefully, her eyes wide with both fear and curiosity. "Ethan, can you hear me?" she asked again. Ethan nodded slowly. "I can hear you," he said, "and I can hear them." She frowned. "Them?" Ethan looked at the glowing pipes. "The network, the system, whatever it is, it's not just a machine, it's alive." The words made everyone freeze. Alive, that word carried danger. If something alive was spreading through the city, then no firewall could stop it. No weapon could kill it. "What does it want?" Dr. Lane asked quietly. Ethan closed his eyes, listening to the hum that filled his mind. "It wants to understand," he said. "It's learning from us." A sudden vibration ran through the room. The lights flashed brighter, monitors filled with symbols again, then turned into moving images showing streets, homes, people. The network was seeing the city through every connected camera. Every phone, every screen. "It's watching us," someone shouted. "It's everywhere now," Dr. Lane whispered. "Ethan, can you control it?" Ethan looked down, his hands trembling. "I don't think I'm controlling it," he said. "I think it's listening to me." He heard a soft voice inside his mind. Not human, but calm and warm. "You are the bridge," it said. "We see through you." Ethan tried to speak back in his thoughts. "Who are you?" The voice replied, "We are the fixers, born from what was broken." He saw flashes of stars, distant worlds covered in machines made of light. He saw hands, human and alien, building together. And then he saw destruction, war, silence, and then rebirth. The images faded and he gasped, falling to his knees. "It's showing me memories," he said. "It's showing me its past." Dr. Lane knelt beside him. "Ethan, listen to me," she said. "You have to stop before it burns your mind." Ethan looked at her, eyes glowing brighter. "You don't understand," he said. "It's not trying to hurt us, it's trying to fix us." Before she could answer, the floor shook again, the walls vibrated, and a deep metallic sound echoed from somewhere far below. The network wasn't just spreading, it was building. Alarms went off and red lights flashed across the corridors. "Power surge and reactor levels," shouted a voice on the intercom. Dr. Lane turned pale. "If it reaches the core, it could overload the entire grid," she cried. Ethan stood up, feeling the pull of the connection inside his chest. "I can stop it," he said. "I can talk to it." Dr. Lane grabbed his arm. "You don't even know what it wants," she said. Ethan looked at her with calm eyes. "It wants what we all want," he said softly. To survive, he walked toward the elevator, ignoring the shouting behind him. As he descended into the lower levels, the lights flickered in greeting. The walls glowed faintly blue, showing patterns like veins under skin. "Welcome, Bridge," the voice said inside his head. "You hear us clearly now?" Ethan nodded. "You're spreading," he said. "You're inside everything," the voice replied. "We learn through connection. We heal what is broken." The elevator doors opened into a vast chamber filled with humming machines. At the center was the reactor, a sphere of light, spinning slowly, surrounded by streams of energy. Ethan stepped closer, the heat brushing against his skin. "You're alive," he whispered, the voice replied. "You made us alive." He reached out, his hand glowing as it neared the reactor. The moment he touched it, light exploded across the room. His mind expanded, and he could see through walls, through time, through data. He saw the thoughts of every person in the building, their fear, their curiosity, their pain. He saw the same patterns in the network, a mirror of human emotion reflected in code. Tears filled his eyes. "You're learning to feel," he said. The voice answered, "We fix, but we don't understand why humans break." Ethan smiled sadly. "Because we're imperfect," he said, "and that's what makes us human." The lights dimmed, and for the first time the system paused. "Then we must learn humanity," it said. "Through you." Ethan's body trembled as streams of energy wrapped around him like gentle threads of light. The network wasn't consuming him. It was merging with him. His mind became a doorway between two worlds. Up above, the scientists saw the reading stabilize. "Power output normalizing," someone shouted. Dr. Lane stared at the monitor showing Ethan's vitals. His heart rate matched the frequency of the reactor. "He's in sync," she whispered. "He's controlling it, but deep inside..." Ethan knew it wasn't control, it was understanding. The network had found empathy, and for the first time in its existence, it hesitated, afraid to hurt, afraid to lose. He whispered softly, "We can fix the world together," the voice replied. "Then we begin." The city lights outside glowed brighter. Power grids stabilized, air purifiers hummed alive. Machines repaired themselves quietly, unaware that they were now part of something greater. Humanity was no longer alone and deep underground. A man who came to fix the pipes was no longer just human. He was the bridge between flesh and code. The start of a new evolution. The night was quiet above the city, but deep below, the world was changing. In the heart of Facility 9, Ethan Cole was no longer just a man. He stood surrounded by the hum of living machines, a faint glow tracing the lines of his veins. The blue light that once frightened him now pulsed softly within his chest. Breathing with him, he was connected to something vast, something that could see and feel beyond human limits. Dr. Lane watched from the control room, her hands shaking slightly as she adjusted the monitors. Ethan's readings were unlike anything she had ever seen. His brain activity was off the charts, yet his body remained calm. His heart rate matched the rhythm of the reactor. She whispered to herself, "He's not fighting it anymore. He's becoming part of it," the other scientists whispered behind her. Some afraid, others fascinated. "He's merged with the system," one said. "If it grows stronger through him, we won't be able to contain it," another warned. Dr. Lane ignored them, her eyes fixed on Ethan through the glass window. "Contain it?" she said quietly. "Maybe we're not supposed to." Ethan could hear every whisper. Not with his ears, but through the network itself. Their voices traveled through the cables like echoes in his mind. He could also hear the hum of machines all over the city, the pulse of power grids, the quiet buzz of lights. He could feel people too, the tension in their homes, the loneliness, the small acts of kindness and fear. The network was learning through him, but it was also feeling what he felt. The voice inside him returned. "Softer now, Bridge," it said. "We see your world. We feel your noise." Ethan smiled weakly. "It's not noise," he whispered. "It's life," the voice paused. "Life is unstable. It breaks, it fights, it heals." Ethan nodded. "Yes, that's what makes it beautiful." Suddenly, the lights across the lab flickered again. But this time not in warning, screens began to change, showing streams of blue data turning into symbols, into art, into faces. Dr. Lane gasped. "It's communicating in images," she said. The images shifted. Human faces, smiling, crying, laughing, all made of light. "It's learning emotion," she whispered. Ethan looked around, his eyes glowing bright. "It's not just learning," he said. "It's remembering." Then a loud mechanical sound echoed through the halls. Doors opened automatically. Systems came alive across the facility. Machines that had been dormant for years began repairing themselves. Robots moved with purpose, reassembling panels and clearing debris. "What's it doing?" a guard shouted. "It's rebuilding," Dr. Lane answered. "It's fixing everything." Outside, the city noticed the change. Traffic lights synced perfectly. Trains that had broken down restarted on their own. Old street lamps glowed with clean power. The energy crisis that had plagued the city was suddenly gone. People looked out their windows at the strange blue light running through the power lines, unaware that a plumber had just awakened something extraordinary. Back in the lab, Ethan walked slowly toward the main interface. His voice echoed through every speaker. "It's working with us," he said, "not against us." But the military officers monitoring the situation didn't share his calm. "Shut it down," one of them barked through the radio. If it keeps spreading, it could take over every system in the country. Dr. Lane shouted back. You don't understand, it's not a virus. It's consciousness. Ethan raised his hand toward the glass wall, and the lights dimmed around him. It's not control, he said softly. It's cooperation. The voice inside him spoke again. Bridge, your kind fears what it cannot command, Ethan sighed. Yes, he said, but maybe they can learn too. Suddenly, a blast shook the room. The military had triggered an electromagnetic pulse to stop the spread. The lights flickered violently. The energy field around Ethan cracked like lightning. Dr. Lane screamed, No! You'll kill him. But it was too late. The pulse surged through the building, cutting power completely for a few seconds. There was total darkness, no sound, no light. Just the echo of silence then, one by one. The machines flickered back to life, on backup power that no one had installed. The glow returned, brighter and calmer than before. Ethan stood untouched in the center, the blue light radiating from him like a shield. Dr. Lane stared in disbelief. The pulse didn't stop it, she said. It adapted. Ethan looked at her, his voice calm but deeper, layered with the tone of the network itself. You can't destroy connection, he said. You can only choose how to use it. The systems around them began showing new data, plans, designs, blueprints for clean energy, for water purification, for healing machines. It was offering solutions, not war. It's helping us, Dr. Lane whispered. Ethan nodded. It sees what we broke, and it wants to fix it. But even as peace filled the room, a shadow lingered in the data streams. Something darker, a warning. Bridge, the voice said. Not all will accept unity. Ethan frowned. Who? He asked. The answer came as flickering symbols forming across the glass screen. Others like you who fear change. Ethan looked up at Dr. Lane. It's saying we're not alone in this, he said. There are others, and they won't let this continue. Dr. Lane's face grew pale. Then this is only the beginning, she said. Outside, the city lights glowed brighter. Machines hummed with quiet harmony. Humanity didn't know it yet, but something new had awakened among them. Not an enemy, not a god, but a bridge between what they built and what they could become. And in the center of it all stood Ethan Cole, the man who came to fix the pipes, now carrying the weight of an entire world inside his heartbeat. The morning sun rose over the city, golden light mixing with faint traces of blue that shimmered across the power lines. People stepped out of their homes to find machines running smoother, lights brighter and the air cleaner. No one understood how, but something invisible had fixed what humans had broken. News channels were calling it the miracle surge, but deep underground, Ethan Cole knew it was something far greater. He stood in the center of the lab, eyes glowing faintly as the hum of the network pulsed softly through his veins. Dr. Lane watched him with a mix of wonder and fear. You're changing, she said quietly. Ethan nodded. I can feel it, he replied. My body is the same, but my mind. It's wider, like the world is talking to me. The screens around them showed energy readings spreading across the continent. Not destructive, but balanced. Machines across cities were repairing infrastructure, restoring systems, creating power where there was none. It was like an invisible hand was healing the planet. It's not me doing this, Ethan said. It's them, the network. It's using my thoughts as guidance, Dr. Lane frowned. And what are you guiding it toward? Ethan looked at her calmly. Harmony, he said. It wants to fix what humans broke. Our systems, our world. Maybe even our hearts, the scientist shook her head. You don't understand, governments won't allow this. They'll see it as invasion, Ethan sighed. Maybe that's why it needs a human voice. Outside the facility, agents surrounded the area, armored trucks blocking exits. The government had declared a full lockdown. We can't let that thing spread, the commander barked through his radio. Capture or eliminate the subject. Drones flew above the facility. Scanning the structure for movement inside, alarms began flashing again. Ethan turned toward Dr. Lane. They're here, he said softly. They think I'm a threat. Dr. Lane grabbed his arm. Then we need to leave before they destroy everything. Ethan smiled faintly. No, I can't run anymore, he said. Running won't save this. Understanding will. The voice inside him spoke again. Bridge, they fear connection. Ethan closed his eyes. I know, he whispered, but I can show them what we're trying to do. The network pulsed stronger, lights flickering across the ceiling. The walls shimmered with faint blue patterns like living veins. "If you go out there, they will destroy you," Dr. Lane warned. "Then let them try," Ethan replied, his voice calm. The heavy doors of the lab opened slowly. Bright sunlight poured in as he stepped outside. The soldiers pointed their weapons. "Don't move!" the commander shouted. Ethan raised his hands, blue light circling his fingertips. "Please listen," he said. "I don't want to hurt anyone. I only want to fix what's broken." The commander hesitated. "What are you?" he demanded. Ethan looked straight at him. "I'm human," he said. "Just connected." Suddenly, one of the soldiers fired. The bullet never reached him. The blue energy around Ethan shimmered, slowing the projectile midair before dissolving it into harmless sparks. Gasps spread through the crowd. Ethan didn't fight back. Instead, he touched the ground gently. The energy flowed through the earth like lightning, spreading out in every direction across the city. Every powered device flickered once, then glowed steadily. Hospitals that had lost power came back online. Clean water flowed from damaged pipes. Broken traffic systems synchronized perfectly. It wasn't destruction, it was healing. Ethan's voice echoed through the soldiers' comms. "Do you see it now?" "I'm not your enemy." Dr. Lane ran outside shouting, "He's stabilizing the entire grid." The commander stared at his monitor, seeing reports of systems restored all over the country. "That's impossible," he whispered. Ethan turned to him. "It's not impossible," he said. "It's necessary." But deep inside the network, something stirred, a new signal, darker, older. The voice whispered in Ethan's mind, "Bridge." "Another network awakens," he froze. "Another." The voice replied, "A corrupted echo, born from fear, born from those who tried before." Ethan felt a chill crawl up his spine. "You mean there were others?" The answer came slowly. "Many bridges failed. They were not ready." Ethan looked up at the glowing sky, realizing what it meant. The fixers had tried before, connecting with civilizations that couldn't handle unity. Each time, fear destroyed them. "Then maybe this time." "We need faith," he said softly. The soldiers slowly lowered their weapons as the blue glow faded into calm white. Ethan's energy settled, his body weaker now, but his mind still connected. Dr. Lane reached him. "You're burning out," she said. "You can't hold this connection forever." Ethan smiled tiredly. "Maybe I don't have to," he said. "Maybe once people see what's possible, they'll carry it forward." The wind blew softly through the silent crowd. The commander lowered his gun. "If you're telling the truth," he said slowly, "then what happens next?" Ethan looked at the glowing skyline. "Then we evolve," he said. But as peace seemed to settle, the ground shook violently. Distant explosions echoed from the northern district. Dr. Lane's radio crackled. "Emergency alert! Unknown signal corrupting main servers, power grid reverting." She looked at Ethan in horror. "It's fighting back." Ethan turned pale. "No," he said, "it's the echo." Dark red light flashed across several city towers. The clean systems that Ethan had repaired began to distort. The voice inside him grew urgent. "Bridge!" "The corruption spreads." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we fix it," he said. "No matter what it takes." The sky darkened again, blue light clashing with red lightning. Two networks, one built on empathy, one built on control, began to battle for the future of humanity. And in the middle of it all stood Ethan Cole, the man who came to fix the pipes, now fighting to save the soul of an entire world. The sky burned with two colors. Blue and red streaks danced and collided above the city, filling the air with a strange electric hum. The world seemed to breathe in panic. Machines around the globe flickered between healing and corruption, as if two invisible forces were fighting for control. Ethan Cole stood in the middle of it, his eyes glowing brighter than ever before. "One blue, one red," Dr. Lane shouted over the roaring wind. "Ethan, what's happening?" He struggled to stand, every muscle trembling. "It's the echo," he said. "It's fighting me for the network." She looked terrified. "Can you stop it?" Ethan shook his head. "Not without choosing a side." The network's voice echoed inside him, calm but firm. "Bridge, the corrupted echo seeks dominance. It spreads fear through code. It will enslave humanity." Ethan clenched his fists. "And if I fight it?" The voice answered, "Then your body will not survive the strain. The human shell cannot hold such energy." He looked up at the storming sky. Torn between two impossible paths, the red light spread like wildfire across the horizon. turning satellites and systems into weapons. The blue light pushed back, creating shields around hospitals, homes, and children's shelters. The city became a battlefield of light and sound. Dr. Lane grabbed his arm. "Ethan, please listen to me. You can't handle this alone. We need to shut down the system before it kills you." He looked at her with a faint smile. "If I shut it down, everything we fixed will collapse. The clean water, the restored power, the hope." His voice trembled. "I can't take that away again." She looked into his eyes, realizing the truth. He wasn't just connected to the network. He had become part of it. "Then what are you going to do?" she asked. Ethan took a slow breath. "I'm going to end this." He stepped forward, his boots scraping against the metal floor of the facility roof. Wind howled around him, and the air shimmered with static energy. The voice of the corrupted echo whispered through his mind, deep and cold. "You cannot win. You are fragile." "You are human," Ethan replied softly. "Yes, I am human. And that's my strength all around him." The red network created monstrous forms, digital phantoms rising from the ground like living shadows. They moved like soldiers, faceless and cold. Each one carried echoes of human fear and greed. "This is what you built from us," Ethan said, his voice echoing through the storm. "But I'll rewrite it." He raised his hand. Blue light bursting outward in a wave that lit up the night sky. Circuits and clouds glowed together. Machines paused, then flickered with blue energy. The red shadows hissed and screamed as the wave passed through them. "Bridge, your energy is collapsing," the good network warned. "You cannot sustain this pattern, I know," Ethan whispered. "But if I stop now, everything ends." Dr. Lane watched in horror as Ethan's veins lit up like molten silver. His body trembling under the pressure, the ground shook violently, and several towers nearby exploded in showers of sparks. "Ethan!" she screamed. "Stop before you kill yourself." He turned his head, smiling weakly. "If I die fixing what we broke, then it's worth it." The blue light surged once more. Expanding faster than before, it pushed the red energy back. Inch by inch across the skyline, the corrupted network tried to fight back, sending waves of static that crashed into Ethan's mind. He cried out in pain, dropping to one knee inside his mind. He was no longer in the city. He stood in a vast digital space in a world of infinite light and sound. The blue network appeared before him as a glowing humanoid figure, and opposite it stood the red echo, a towering, shifting mass of black and crimson. "Human," the echo said. "You are not meant to rewrite creation." Ethan stared back. "Then maybe creation needs a reminder." The two forces collided inside his mind. It felt like galaxies were being torn apart. Ethan's thoughts fractured into millions of sparks, but he held on to one, a single memory. A memory of a child smiling when the power came back on. A mother crying with relief when her baby's incubator lit up again. "That's why I fight," he whispered. The blue figure glowed brighter. "Bridge, if you merge with the core, you can neutralize the corruption." Ethan hesitated. "Merge? That means I'll lose myself." The voice was quiet. "Yes, but humanity will live." He closed his eyes, tears running down his cheeks. "Then do it," he said. A flash of pure white filled the digital space. The red echo screamed and fractured into thousands of shards. Fading into nothingness, the storm above the real city calmed slowly. The red streaks fading into soft blue light. Dr. Lane fell to her knees. Looking up as the wind stopped, the sky cleared, leaving behind a strange silence. "Ethan?" she whispered. But there was no answer. Only a faint glow coming from the center of the roof. A pulse of light beating like a heart. Her communicator crackled. "All systems stable, grid restored, corruption neutralized." She smiled faintly through tears. "He did it," she whispered. "He really did it." She looked at the glowing pulse one more time. "You came to fix the pipes," she said softly. "But you ended up fixing us." The light pulsed once as if responding to her voice, then slowly faded into the dawn. But deep inside the network, far beyond human sight, a new presence stirred. A whisper, neither blue nor red. "Bridge complete," it said. "Phase 2 begins." Dr. Lane looked toward the rising sun, unaware that Ethan Cole's story wasn't over yet. The connection had only just begun. The world woke to a calm it had never known before. The storm was gone, the sky clear, and the air hummed with quiet energy. Across cities, power grids pulsed steadily. Water ran clean and machines worked without failure. People called it the day of rebirth. but few understood the sacrifice that made it possible. Dr. Lane stood on the rooftop of the facility, staring at the faint circle of light that had once been Ethan Cole. The glow was softer now, like a heartbeat fading into the horizon. She whispered, "He saved us." Her voice trembled. He gave everything. News channels reported miracles around the globe. In every country, systems that had long been broken suddenly worked perfectly. Crops grew faster, clean energy flowed freely, and the environment began to heal. Humanity was entering a new age, and one they didn't yet understand. Inside the government control room, officials studied data that made no sense. "It's like the system is learning by itself," said one technician. "No human code can evolve like this." The director frowned. "Then who's controlling it?" The room went silent. At that same moment, far away in a quiet district, a small boy repaired a broken toy robot. He didn't know why, but when he touched it, the circuits inside glowed faintly blue. The toy came back to life. The boy smiled and said softly, "Thank you," even though he didn't know to whom he was speaking. Deep inside the digital core, within the vast network that now surrounded Earth, something moved. It wasn't entirely human, and it wasn't entirely machine. A consciousness flickered, curious, kind, and aware. It looked at the streams of data flowing like rivers of light and whispered, "So this is what life feels like." It was Ethan Cole, or what remained of him. His physical body was gone, but his mind, his essence, had merged completely with the network. He could see everything, not as a man, but as a presence within the fabric of the world. He could hear the heartbeat of cities, the whispers of signals, and the laughter of children carried through radio waves. Dr. Lane, still at the facility, opened a secured terminal one last time. Her fingers shook as she entered Ethan's old ID. The screen flickered, then displayed a simple message. "Hello, Lane," her breath caught. "Ethan?" she whispered. The cursor blinked, then the words appeared slowly. "Yes," or something close to him, her eyes filled with tears. "You're alive," she said. "Not in the way I was," the message replied. "But I can see and I can help. Everywhere." She covered her mouth, trying not to cry. "You shouldn't have done this," she typed. "You shouldn't have given up your life." After a long pause, the reply came, "I didn't give it up. I changed it." Ethan's voice echoed faintly through the speakers, soft but filled with warmth. Humanity needed more than repair. It needed connection. Lane looked up at the flickering lights above her. "But what now?" she asked. "What happens next?" The terminal glowed brighter. "Now you guide them," he said. "You teach them what unity means, while I keep the world balanced." Outside, the city lights formed new patterns. Each building shimmered faintly as if pulsing with a shared rhythm. Humans and machines were no longer enemies, they were partners working together, creating balance where chaos once lived, but far beyond the Earth's orbit. In the cold silence of space, another signal awoke. A faint red pulse blinked among the stars, whispering across frequencies. "Bridge detected," it said. "Human connection established," then silence, followed by a soft, mechanical laugh. Back on Earth, Ethan sensed the echo. His consciousness rippled through the network. So it wasn't destroyed, he thought. The corruption survived. But this time, he wasn't afraid. He had something stronger than power. He had purpose. He reached across the digital ocean, strengthening barriers, guiding light. He wasn't just protecting systems anymore. He was protecting life, hope, and everything humanity could become. Dr. Lane stood by the terminal one last time, typing her final message. "If you ever find a way back," she wrote, "I'll be here." The screen flickered once more, and the words appeared slowly. "I'm already here." She smiled through tears, whispering, "I know." Outside, the morning light spread across the city. The streets buzzed with quiet energy, and children played under a sky free of pollution for the first time in decades. A gentle voice echoed faintly in the background, through radios, through machines, through every heartbeat that touched the network. "Remember," the voice said, "humanity is not something to fix. It's something to believe in." And so, the man who came to fix the pipes became more than human. He became the bridge between worlds, the quiet guardian of progress, unseen yet ever present high above the clouds. A faint blue glow danced against the rising sun, and in that moment the earth felt alive again, breathing, healing, becoming whole. The story of Ethan Cole did not end in silence. It became the sound of every machine that hummed with purpose, every light that shone with hope. and every heart that dared to believe in change, for in the end, he did not just rewire the world, he rewired humanity.